I wanted to talk about us. Okay.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Well, we are here. It is the season finale of the L Word Generation Q, season 2, and it is a tiny little bit tainted. I hate to say that, but there has been a real disaster with the episode going live. It usually goes live at midnight, and Showtime are currently trying to fix it. I've put as many clips as possible in this review as usual, but I am super limited due to copyright and all that stuff. So obviously spoilers and all that, but I will also be doing, many more videos about this. This will be like a shorter review. I have been up since 1 a.m. because I went to Pants Live, but of course I'll be doing a more in-depth review and then a review of the entire season as a whole. So make sure that you have hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any content. And if you enjoyed this season of the L Word, make sure to leave a big thumbs up on the video and let me know your thoughts on the season as a whole and the finale down in the comment section. So let's get right into it and let's go through character by character as we always do, starting out with Finley and Sophie. And now most of our characters are paired off together, and pretty much what we suspected, that Finley would have the intervention straight away in the beginning of the episode, and then throughout the course of the episode, she comes to terms with needing help. Again, I did think that there would be some offers from Shane and Alice, paying for treatment, Shane saying that they can hold her job for her. I mean, that is pretty much the dream scenario because, a lot of people, they can't even afford to take the time off, never mind to actually pay for it and everything. So I hope this means that Finley's going to come back next season and she's really going to have done the hard work and feeling better about herself and moving forward in her recovery, and then also in her relationship with Sophie. I think it'll be really interesting how they kind of play this, whether there will be, there's always a significant time jump, but just how much of a time jump, because it would be interesting to see Sophie like having to actually be by herself for a while, because she's been with Dani for years and then now with Finley, so she probably would find herself being a bit lonely. But again, that just depends on the time jump and how long Finley is gone for. Micah in this episode didn't have a huge amount going on. He was obviously there for Finley's intervention and stuff, and that scene was really good because there was like so many of the cast members in it, and cast members who necessarily don't interact that much. Like Micah doesn't have that many scenes with Shane and Alice and stuff. That was more or less Micah's storyline. I would have liked to have known a bit more about where we were leaving things off this season with Micah, but I understand they only have so much time. I did think it was strange that this episode was only 49 minutes, by far one of the shortest episodes of the season. Towards the beginning, the episodes were like 58, 59 minutes, and I really feel like we could have done with those extra 10 minutes. So I was a little bit disappointed it was that short, because of course I always want longer episodes. So on to Shane and Tess, who are still very happily together at the beginning of the episode, and then they do have this patch in the middle and then work it out towards the end that Tess, needs to go to Vegas to be with her mom. She talks to Shane about hiring another general manager, and it really does seem as though like Shane is in this for the long haul. She is telling Tess all the things that we haven't really seen Shane ever completely lay her heart in the line like this. So I think that it is showing Shane's growth and change from the OG that we always knew she was capable of, but it is nice to see it in action. I don't know what they're going to do here with Tess and everything. Like, I know Jamie Clayton is pretty like busy outside of the L Word, so maybe this is kind of leaving the door open so she can still appear in episodes, or that she, you know, they have a reason for why she's not around as much. Because I did say at the beginning of the season I would think it was quite strange if she wasn't bumped up to a series regular now that like she's dating Shane, who's like one of the leads. So I think that maybe this is their way of still keeping her in the show, but not having to give her like one of these big lead roles, because she still wants to work on other projects outside of it. Or literally next season we could come back and Tess could have moved back and it could have been like a temporary thing. I think that they've really left a lot open-ended. And I mean, if we don't get season 3, obviously, like I'll talk about that more in a minute, but there is absolutely no closure here for anyone. So on to Alice, and I think in a way Alice kind of got the shaft a little bit in this episode, because I just feel as though she didn't get as much focus as everyone else. And again, I know it's the finale, and this just felt like such a shorter episode. And we heard she got a bad review, but she was on the bestsellers list. And then obviously her and Tom were going on the book tour. I feel like the ring thing was just, it's going to be some sort of misunderstanding, because surely Tom is not going to propose. I mean, that would be the most like lesbian U-Haul thing ever if he was. I wouldn't put anything past this show, but it's quite to leave us with. And I mean, this goes for pretty much all the main, you know, guest stars this season. It's really leaving the door open for them all to come back, because yes, like Carrie and Tina broke up, but especially lesbians, like it's never really a clean break. I can see like Tina even having to like move out, so there is a way to bring Carrie back for like saying bye or anything like that. Or even if they brought her in as a character like not dating Tina. But Tom, I mean, unless again there's a significant time jump, like what is going to happen with Alice and Tom? Like, are we going to find out what happened with this ring, or will it just be like a throwaway line like, oh, he was bringing his sister's ring back to her or something like that, or he's pawning, you know, someone he was engaged to before's ring, or some crazy L-word reason. But Alice, again, I feel as though, I mean, obviously I will talk way more about all this stuff when I do like a season 2, what went right, what went wrong, but I feel as though Alice's show, I wanted more of what's going on there, because we only got these tiny little flashes of mostly like backstage and like Alice being in a bubble, or Alice, you know, we had all that flour over her face in this episode. And although Alice had that little tiny minute moment with Bette, and then our Shane, Alice and Bette scene was very important, like Bette wise, it's so short, and I really want more Bette, Alice and Shane.
Getting married, and Carrie is having cold feet. Wait, what? How do you know that?
And I feel as though there's some scenes that, maybe not in the finale, but there's some scenes overall that I'm like, why are we giving this priority when we don't have, you know, tons of Alice, Bette and Shane? Like, we know there was Alice, Bette and Shane, I keep saying Alice, Bette and Shane scenes cut this season because of some of like the sneak peek pictures, and it just upsets me because there's so far and few between scenes with the OGs, and then we waited all the way to episode 9 to get a Bette, Alice, Shane and Tina one, episode 9 of season 2 to get one. So I just would love a little bit more scenes with the OGs and stuff. Like, I understand establishing the Gen Q characters and everything, yes, is very important, and like the show is about everyone on the show, but I still, like, the OGs are still there, so I still want to see as much as them interacting as possible. So on to my favorite couple at the moment, Dani and Gigi. And to be honest, I really was a bit disappointed with where things were throughout the finale. The ending for them was great. I loved like seeing Gigi's family and Dani's there, and they were so cute together, and I loved Gigi standing up for Dani. Also, I kind of loved the thing about Dani being arrested, and you can hear my shock in the clip I'm going to put in here.
You're under arrest for criminal contempt of court.
Holy
Go ahead and
fuck.
stand up for me. Put your hands behind your back.
Shit.
Excuse me, this is completely unnecessary.
I really didn't think they were going to go there, because when they're saying to Dani, like, you could be held in contempt, blah, 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 I thought, oh, there's no way that they'll actually do that, but they did. And I think that that leaves things like super, you know, what's going to happen. But I would have loved to have seen more Gigi and Dani in the episode. Like, we hardly got any scenes with them. And I mean, I keep saying this, but Dani and Gigi, like, I don't think people understand just how popular they are. Like, anything that references them, any views, videos, pictures, everything, it is by far and away like the most popular things on my channel, on my Instagram, everything. So I think that they thought, like Showtime and the showrunner, the writers, everything, I'm sure that they thought, oh, this is going to be a popular couple, but I don't think they realized just how popular. And because obviously they make all the episodes before we see any of them, this is one of the unfortunate things where it's not like, you know, most TV shows like Grey's Anatomy and stuff where they're still making the season when we start seeing it. So I think next season, I mean, I hope that we see a lot more Dani and Gigi, because they definitely warrant more inclusion. And yes, a little bit disappointed, but the scenes that we did get with them were absolutely brilliant.
Dani, you'll be held in criminal contempt of court. They will find you. Go fuck yourself.
I mean, I think this goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. But the number one, like, absolutely dominated this season, just all around, was Sepideh, who plays Gigi. Like, just absolutely brilliant performance throughout the whole season. Being part of Dani and Gigi too, like, there is the number one MVP of Gen Q right there. And I am so happy that they gave her more this season. Please give her more in season 3, because I absolutely adore Gigi in season 1 and I wanted to see more of her and to learn more about her. So we really got that this season with knowing a bit more about her family and stuff, but even more in season 3, please and thank you. Deep breaths. So that only leaves Bette and Tina. What an emotional roller coaster that we've been on this episode, this season, years, decades of our lives that we've been on this emotional roller coaster with them. And okay, one great thing that I was a little bit worried about was the line, the famous trailer line that Shane says about winning her back.
What I'm saying is, if there was ever a time to win her back, I think it's now or never.
Okay.
It was to bet about Tina, because I know at one stage I was like, oh my god, if they've cut this line, I'm gonna hear the end of it. But throughout this episode, I mean, we even got Pippa and Bette in the beginning, and Pippa's kind of calling Bette out and saying, you know, I really trust my intuition and something's telling me there's something not right here.
Tina makes me feel some kind of way.
She's the mother of my child, and she'll always be in my life.
And I think it's more than that. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
And I think that that tracks well. Like, it maybe wasn't necessary for like OG watchers who have been, you know, involved in this for 20 years, but maybe people who like only watch Gen Q, I think that this was good kind of like layering to really, you know, sell it that this is what's going on, because again, I think that it would be hard to get the whole story of Bette and Tina if you just watched the 2 seasons of Gen Q. And this was another situation where, yes, they told us rather than showed us, but I think mixed with like Jennifer Beals and Laurel Holloman's performance, like it went really well throughout the episode.
Nah, I don't want to go. Just so you can convince yourself you're over her.
Okay.
And there were so many like little subtle Jennifer Beals things where when like Shane and Alice are talking to Bette and Shane says about the line and things, and Bette, like, it looks like she's almost like smiling, like in spite of herself. And then we have the scene at Dana's where, oh God, it's just emotions on high. And Bette, I'm like, Bette, why are you choosing this moment?
I mean, the other night you asked me if I was still in love with you. And I don't know. No. I mean, I tried to put it out of my mind.
In a public place where Carrie has actually gone to the bar, like not even left, gone to the bar to get a drink.
But I need to know, why did you ask me that question in the first place? Why did you ask me if I was still in love with you?
It was a mistake. And I never should have.
And I obviously, like, it's a TV show, we want high stakes and all that stuff, so that's why they did it.
No, it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a mistake because it made me think, I want you to be happy.
But Carrie comes back and obviously has heard what Bette is saying.
I know this would happen.
Nothing happened.
You think I'm a fucking idiot.
Nothing happened. She was just leaving.
And it does not go over well. Carrie is obviously, like, before she heard this conversation, she was like right there, like, I cannot continue this. We know this has been building for a while, with Carrie saying to Shane and Tess a few episodes ago in episode 7 about she can't marry Tina. So I feel like Carrie's mind was made up and she was just trying to find like where she was going to insert this.
I don't want to hear anything from you.
Bette, just go.
I don't.
Okay.
Just go.
Okay.
That was nothing.
She's in love with you.
No.
Haven't I been saying?
And Bette provided her the perfect circumstance. So yeah, again, like breaking up with Tina like in a public place, not the greatest, but it's the L word. So Tina is, to say the least, absolutely fucking furious, which you would be, wouldn't you?
I hope you're fucking happy. I am sorry.
I should have listened to my gut. I knew you weren't ready.
No, I am ready.
And kind of explodes at Bette and says this is what she wanted. And like, yeah, it is what she wanted. So, oh, Bette, like, just going about this the wrong way. But then Bette goes home, you know, she's and like Jennifer Beals was looking, I mean, she always looks amazing, but in the scene at home with Angie, like her hair and everything, I was like, damn, like you just do not age. So we see Angie and Bette have this nice scene at home, and then Bette's like, oh, I'm gonna go to Pippa's gallery, and it is like the way they did the last few minutes where like Dani gets arrested and then they're showing like Pippa going into the CAC with like all the cameras flashing and she's like looking around. Like that was really beautiful, like really well shot, and just the way they were cutting and everything, like it was really, really good. And then of course Bette opens the door and who's standing there but Tina, and Tina has like her not angry face, she has like her Bette turn around face.
What are you doing here? Can I come in?
So I'm like, oh, and then I mean I'm gonna insert the clip here because I managed to capture my reaction, well, at least my audio reaction on film for you. Fucking bastards! And so that was the episode, and that was the cliffhanger, the many, many cliffhangers. That was the season 2 finale, and all I can say is, if we do not get a season 3, I will never, ever shut up about it. Like, ever. We'll go to my grave talking about the fact that we were robbed of an L Word Generation Q season 3. So we need it. We need it yesterday. So I'm really hoping that we get it confirmed over the next few days. I'm, again, really, really confident, and I don't think, I mean, like, look at what they just did. Like, I don't think they would do that to us if they weren't at least confident. So I just really, really hope that we get it. As I said, I'm gonna do a more like in-depth discussion about the finale, about where we've left things for the season, and about season 2 as a whole. Plenty more to come on this topic, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel and make sure to leave a big thumbs up in the video if you enjoyed season 2, and let me know what you thought of the finale down in the comment section. So as always, make sure to follow me on social media, check out my Patreon, check out my L Word merch store. Don't forget to listen to my podcast, Drinks at Dana's, that comes out on Sundays, and everything else you could possibly need is linked down in the description box. And as always, make sure to stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.